in Pakistan has claimed dozens of lives. At least 44 people were killed and nearly 200 wounded when a suicide bomber triggered a powerful blast during a rally for a hardline cleric in northwest Pakistan. The explosion took place at the Jamiat Ulema-e-Islam-Fazl's convention in Bajaur's Khar in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Maulana Ziaullah, the local chief of the party, was among those killed. Senator Abdul Rashid and former lawmaker Maulana Jamaluddin were also on the stage but escaped unhurt. Officials say party chief Maulana Fazlur Rahman was not at the rally. The Bajaur district near the Afghan border was a stronghold of the Pakistan Taliban, a close ally of Afghanistan's Taliban government, before the Pakistan army drove the militants out of this area. Now, supporters of the hardline Pakistani cleric and political party leader Maulana Fazlur Rahman, whose JUI-F generally supports regional Islamists, were meeting in Bajaur, close to a market outside the district capital. Officials were announcing the arrival of Abdul Rashid, the party leader, when the bomb went off in one of Pakistan's bloodiest attacks in recent years. The JUI-F chief, Maulana Fazlur Rahman, has demanded that Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and the province's caretaker Chief Minister Azam Khan investigate the incident. Prime Minister Sharif, President Arif Alvi and other leaders have condemned the attack and asked officials to provide all possible assistance to the wounded and the bereaved families. The provincial police said in a statement that the attack was carried out by a suicide bomber who detonated his explosives vest close to the stage where several senior leaders of the party were sitting. Initial investigations suggest the Islamic State group that operates in Afghanistan and is an enemy of the Afghan Taliban, the ISKP, could be behind the attack. 3 suspects have been taken into custody. The provincial police chief Akhtar Hayat Khan has said 10 kilograms of explosives set off by the suicide bomber were used in this blast. He said the bomber was amongst the attendees seated in the front rows of the convention. The Pakistan Taliban, or the TTP, said in a statement that the bombing was aimed at setting Islamists against each other. Zabiullah Mujahid, a spokesperson for the Afghan Taliban, said on the social media that such crimes cannot be justified in any way. The JUI-F party is headed by the Islamist cleric Fazlur Rahman, who initiated his political career as a firebrand hardliner, but who has softened his political image in recent years to make alliances with secular parties. No one immediately claimed responsibility for the attack, but the ISKP has emerged as the prime suspect, as the attack represents the culmination of an intense series of targeted assassinations of JUI-F leadership that began in Peshawar back in 2016 and further expanded to Bajaur in 2019. The attacks have intensified since last year. The local chapter of the Islamic State has recently carried out attacks against JUI-F. Last year, the Islamic State said it was behind violent attacks against religious scholars affiliated with the party, which has a huge network of mosques and madrasas in the north and west of the country. The jihadist group accuses JUI-F of hypocrisy for being an Islamic group while supporting hostile governments and the military. Pakistan's military says militants are operating from safe havens in Afghanistan, and it has threatened to mount an effective response in the wake of the recent attacks. The Afghan Taliban seizure of power in Afghanistan in August 2021 emboldened the TTP and other militants. The TTP unilaterally ended a ceasefire agreement with the Pakistan government in November last year and has ever since stepped up attacks across the country, largely targeting Pakistan security officials. In January this year, a TTP suicide bomber blew himself up in a mosque inside a police compound in the northwestern city of Peshawar, killing more than 80 officers. The latest bombing is one of the 4 worst attacks in northwest Pakistan in the last decade. In 2014, 147 people, mostly school children, were killed in a Taliban attack on an army-run school in Peshawar. In March 2022, a suicide bomber struck inside another mosque in Peshawar during Friday prayers, killing at least 56 worshippers in an attack that was claimed by the Islamic State. Time for us to take another quick break here on Global Lens, but we have more for you on the other side.
ChatGPT, It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers,